Your next life may begin with one new conversation, one new experience, or one woman who makes you realize that the thing you want isn't nearly as impossible as you thought. Hey, selfies, welcome back to another episode. And I am here on my own today for a solo episode. And that means you and me, we're going to hang out, we're going to chat. I have my notes so I stay on track. And I'm excited to talk to you today about something that really is important for all of us ladies, all of us women who want more. We want to evolve, we want to grow, we want to heal. But what else do we want? Do you know what you want? That is something I'm going to get into. But first, I have a question for you, okay? So here it is. I want you to think about the people you spend the most time with. Who are they? Who's in your inner circle? Make a little inventory in your mind right now. I want you to think about, let's say, the 5 people you spend the most time with, because you know, you've heard the saying, we are the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. So, who are your 5? And I don't want you to think about it like, are they good people? Are they bad people? Do I love them? Do I not love them? Do I like them? No, we're not passing judgment. This is not a morality exercise. This is curiosity. Okay. This isn't like, well, I've known them since high school or their kids are friends with my kids. No, just think about this. Who do you become when you're around them? Because as much as we like to say, oh, I am who I am and this is just me, it's like, it's not fucking true. We become somebody different when we're around different people. Think of how you might show up at work, how you might show up with your best friend, how you might show up with your partner, how do you show up with your parents? How do you show up with the delivery guy who got your order wrong? We show up different based on who we're around. That's just science, that's just psychology, that's just being a human. And as much as we work on how we show up and what we can control, I think we do dramatically underestimate how much the people around us shape our lives. Right? We can talk about mindset. We can talk about habits. We can talk about goals and morning routines and reading all the right books. You can spend years trying to convince yourself that something is possible. And then you can meet one woman who's already doing it. And guess what? All of a sudden, your whole idea of what's possible changes. Why? Because you changed who you were spending time with. The point is that we calibrate ourselves to the environment. Let's say everyone around you thinks that traveling alone is terrifying, okay? And everyone you talk to, every woman you talk to is scared to travel alone. What's going to happen to you? That is going to subconsciously impact your perspective on traveling alone. And odds are you're also going to start to adapt that fear. But then imagine you meet a woman who you start hanging out with. She seems like an interesting person. Maybe you're meeting for coffee. And then she just casually says, oh, I spent 3 months in Italy by myself last summer. And something happens. What's happened? She didn't give you a 7-step plan. She didn't give you a here's how to travel by yourself book. She just became the evidence for you that it's possible. Because sometimes another woman becomes the evidence you need to see that what you want is possible for you. Evidence that you can leave your marriage, evidence that you can start over at any age, evidence that you can make more money than you think you can, that you can travel, that you can fall in love at 40, 50, 60, 80, 90, that you can live alone, that you could build a business, that you can wear whatever the fuck you want, that you can be high maintenance. Like all of these things become evidence when you see it being lived out in another woman. And so when we look at the five people we spend the most time with, what I want you to look at is who you become when you're around them. Because if you are spending time with people who are living in fear, or they're living in negativity, or they are in the shit of their own problems or drama or chaos or whatever, then that is going to impact you and it's going to change how you show up. You can't show up to your full self when you are surrounded by people who are wanting you to be smaller. So maybe it's time to reevaluate your people. Maybe it's time to think about having a different circle. And that doesn't mean you've got to cut all these people out of your life. But what I want to challenge you with is to think about, what if you added something new into your life? What if you gave yourself a different space, also, right? Another space where you had women who inspired you, who showed you what's possible, who were the living evidence of your dreams, who actually took your dream and was like, oh my God, yeah. And what if you also did this and they expanded it for you? What if you spent time also in circles of women who did this? What do you think would happen? What do you think would happen to you? I'll tell you what will happen to you. You'll expand your idea of who you are and what you're capable of and what's possible for you will expand. It has to. Just as it diminishes around people who want you to be smaller so they feel more comfortable, so they don't have to face their own shit, you also will expand in spaces where you are in elevated conversations with people who are encouraging you, inspiring you, motivating you, challenging you, helping you grow. So, as I was thinking about that, I was thinking about some of the spaces I have been in that have done that for me. Some of the spaces I've been in that have elevated me and it helped me to expand. So, one of those groups that I was in was a writing group several years ago. It was at the end of my marriage, and I was feeling really unhappy and really not confident in myself. I was really struggling with my self esteem and feeling very discouraged and lost. But I took a writing class at the college. I think I was in my late 40s. Took a writing class at the local college, and I was so nervous because I was like, I am going to be the oldest person there, and they're all going to be these young kids. But I did it. I did it anyways. And I remember the first day of class, and I think I was taking a writing and publishing class. And I remember I walked onto campus with my backpack and my lunch, and it was the first day of school. And there I am, like this older married lady with kids who were the same age as a lot of those students. And I was so freaking scared. But I walked into that class and I looked around and I was like, oh, there's somebody who's maybe my age. There was a couple other people my age, but there was a lot of young kids right out of high school too. But, after that first day, I was like so excited because I listened to the professor talk about the books we were going to read. I think we were going to read Jane Eyre. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited and get to write essays. And I just got so into the excitement of the class that it really stopped mattering like who else was there. And then I started making friends and I started talking to people about literature and writing, and it just helped me to get into my creativity, and it unleashed an excitement and a passion for literature in a new way. And my essay on Jane Eyre, I got an A and my professor loved it. And it just helped to explode my writing process and really helped me to believe in myself again as a writer. And that led me ultimately to being able to write and publish a book. So that space, even though on the surface it looked like it was going to be, super uncomfortable and full of judgy people and like whatever, it's like it turned into this really lovely space. And that was something that changed the course of my life just by being willing to get in there and get out of my comfort zone. And another group that has done that for me is a group of women that I met through a leadership program like 14 years ago. And we went through this whole 1 year long program where we'd 4 times a year we go and live in a ranch, and they take us through all these crazy adventurous things we had to do that triggered the shit out of us. And then we'd sit and debrief and learn about ourselves. It was one of the most transformative experiences of my life because it just pushed me so far out of my comfort zone, but then also gave me the coaching to learn about like what that was showing in me as a leader. And so that in itself was mind-blowingly expansive. I was in a safe environment with people who were there committed to my own growth and were willing to piss me off and like challenge me and then stay with me as I worked through that. So that was an expansive space. But then also, I made some amazing friends through that experience. And we meet once a year. And I talk about this in my book, actually. We meet every January, the beginning of the year, and we talk about what we're going to manifest for that year. What is our word for the year? And then we go out into our lives. And sometimes we don't talk for that whole year, but we know we're going to meet every January. And I know they're going to ask me, so what did you do? And what did you learn? And how did you grow? And what was that like? And that also is just something that has expanded me so much and helped me to grow and elevate and believe in myself. And then have people reflect back to me what they see in me. Like that has been huge for me. And then the last one I thought I'd share is a mastermind that I have been a part of for the last 6, 8 months. And I met this woman at a conference, and I was actually speaking at the conference last year. And this woman was also one of the speakers, and we didn't really get a chance to talk, but everything she said, I was like, that's the one woman I want to get to know. That's the one. And what she was talking about on that stage was blowing my mind about what could be possible for me as a business owner, as an entrepreneur. The things she was saying, I hadn't heard of before. And I was just like, oh my God. I want to be in this woman's space. I want to be in in proximity to her because I know that I will grow if I am. And she actually came up to me after I spoke and she invited me to have a call with her. And I ended up joining her mastermind program. And yes, 100%, it has made me expand. It has blown the doors off of what I believe I'm capable of, what is possible for me. She challenges me with so much love and grace, and I just love it so much, even though it's challenged the shit out of me this year and it has made me really uncomfortable. But I know I needed it. I know I wanted it, and it has absolutely changed my life, changed my business, changed everything. And so those are three examples of groups where being in proximity to these women, these elevated spaces, has totally changed the direction of my life and the trajectory of my life. So I wanted to share that to show you what's possible. And I'm sure you have examples too of groups of women you've been in, maybe that have been detrimental to you or kept you small, but also ones that have expanded you and helped you to grow. And really, what I noticed in all three of those examples for me in all three situations was it was less about what they taught me, and it was more that their lives and their examples and their evidence in their own lives gave my imagination somewhere new to go. It opened up what I could imagine for myself. So noticing this matters. And it's really important, especially if you feel like you are on a crossroads or in a transition or in a place where you know that there's something more for you, but maybe you're not sure what that is. This is an important thing to take account of, and it matters more than I think we give it credit for. It's all about being curious, right? So, as you are reflecting on your 5 people, I want you to ask yourself a few questions. So, journal time. Grab your pen, grab your paper. Let's go. I have some questions for you to ask yourself that's going to help you to see where you might be secretly being diminished and where you might need to find people who can expand your sense of self and your vision of what's possible. Okay, so here's the first question. Who still relates to you as the person you were 10 years ago? All right. Who has known you the longest? Often this is family, okay, and that's okay. But a lot of people who've known you the longest also have a very fixed idea of who you are. They still see you as the role that you used to play, the person you used to be, and that can be very difficult to break out of because people want you to stay who you are so they can stay who they are. And so just notice that. It doesn't mean you got to cut them out of your life, okay? But just notice who still relates to me as that 10-year-old 10 years ago version of me. Another question for you. Where do you automatically shrink your desires because you know the room won't understand them? This is such a powerful question. How many times have we been in rooms where it's like, I'm not going to talk about what I want to do with my life because I know it's not going to go over well. I don't want to talk about the new career or starting the business or that I want to travel or that I'm thinking of getting a divorce or whatever. I'm not going to tell these people because I know exactly how this is going to go. They are going to shit all over my idea and then I'm going to feel discouraged and deflated. Where are those places where you feel that way and who are those people that you feel that way with? Next question. Which conversations leave you energized? Are you having conversations with people in your life where you walk away going, oh my God, that was so great. I feel amazing. I feel lit up. I feel excited. I feel inspired. Where are you having those conversations? Next question. Which conversations keep circling the same complaints? This is a big one because often we will find that there is a pattern with people where we just sit and we complain about our health, or we complain about the weather, or we complain about the politics, or we complain about the economy, or whatever it might be. Where are you just circling the same complaints? Because as we know, what you focus on expands. And so if you are in those circles where you're just literally circling the drain of complaints, that is a big sign that you're being held back by that person or by that group. And then the last question I have for you is who makes you braver simply by being themselves? Let me tell you, there are people that I spend time with, and just by them being who they are, I feel like I can go into my life and do anything. I feel like I can do whatever I want. I feel so filled with courage just by being around those people. Who are those people for you? So hopefully by now, as I'm talking to you, right, you're getting a sense of who the people are that you maybe need to dial back how much time you're spending with them. Maybe you need better boundaries. Okay, just saying. And maybe you're getting a sense of who the people are that you need more of in your life. Maybe you don't know who they are yet, but you can imagine who those people are, and you can imagine what it might be like for you to be in those spaces. That's what I want for you out of this episode is a bigger awareness, a bigger understanding of how the people in your life and the spaces you spend the most time in are shaping you, how it's changing how you show up, and how it is either causing you to contract or it's causing you to expand. And then we want to look at giving you more opportunity to expand, giving you more spaces where you evolve, where you realize what you're capable of, what's possible for you. And not only that, but you have women walking alongside you going, hell yeah. And not only that, what about this? Let's 10x that and let me help you. And I know somebody and I can connect you and I can recommend. And all of a sudden we have a village, right? A community of women who are all together expanding. And again, this isn't about making anybody wrong or bad. This is just about you being selfish enough to say, I am going to commit to being in the spaces where I am going to evolve, where I'm going to be challenged, because I know I can't do it alone. And I know I can't do it in spaces where they want me to stay the same or where they want me to stay in those old patterns. So I'm going to invest in myself and I'm going to actively look for these spaces. So this is really so pivotal because look, I have been talking for a while about spaces and community, and whether it's retreats I've planned or my Facebook group I've had for 10 years or the Phoenix or whatever it is, I have been growing and evolving myself in leading spaces and creating communities for women where you can come and have this expansion, this evolution, but also have fun, right? And so as I've evolved, those spaces have evolved. And the next evolution is the space that I'm calling the society. And the society is essentially exactly what I'm talking about. It is a space for women who want to not only grow, expand, heal, evolve, be supported, but also be connected to other women who are having elevated conversations, who are inspiring you. We know that as women, we heal in proximity to other women. We know that we transform simply by being in spaces where we see other women doing stuff that inspires us and gives us courage to do it. Not only are you then validated, you feel less alone, but you also get to experience real sisterhood and real connection and make real friends with real people, even though we're doing it online. The society is that where that's going to happen. And my vision for the society is so fucking huge. And I'm so excited about it because this is exactly what I want too. I'm creating something for myself as well. But it's a room where we can influence each other upwards, where one woman talks about the trip she just booked, and then another one starts thinking about where she wants to go. It's a room where someone makes a brave decision and it gives another woman courage. It's where we can talk about money, beauty, pleasure, ambition, reinvention, books, travel, desire, relationships, business, ridiculous ideas, the things we haven't figured out yet, manifesting, like boundaries, healing, confidence. It's a room that makes your world feel bigger simply because you're in it. Can you tell I'm excited? The society is going to become our favorite space online. It all takes place on an app called The Circle, and that is a free app download on your phone, on your laptop. And then inside the society space on Circle, we have all of those spaces all together. We have a chat room. You have courses that I have downloaded for you to be able to take in there. I have guest experts coming in. I'm doing coaching, masterminds, but also spaces where we can do all of this other fun stuff too. So this is what I have been like fucking excited about for the last few months and working my ass off to create. And now it's finally here. And I'm opening the doors at the end of July. But first, we have to have a party. So I am hosting opening weekend from July 24th to 26th. I am hosting the Society's opening weekend. And this is a free weekend for all of us to gather. There are going to be 3 live gatherings on Zoom. We're starting on Friday with happy hour, where not only are we going to hang out, but we're also going to talk about what the hell we want and how hard it is to know what we want sometimes. And we're going to get into that. And then on the Saturday, we're doing coffee chat. Grab your coffee. I'll probably be in my PJs. And we're going to talk about how to get out of your own way and how to remove the blocks from getting what you want. And Sunday, we're doing what's called a sparkle party. And this is going to be hosted by the amazing Helmy Hope, who is basically sunshine in a human form. You're going to adore her. She is going to take us through an incredible and fun time of girlhood and connection and friendship and all of the things. It's going to be a beautiful wrap up to the weekend. So you can come to one of those events, you can come to 2, you can come to all 3, whatever you want. But they are all going to be happening July 24th to 26th. Like I said, this is a free event where you can get a taste of what the society is going to be like. And I will be sharing more about that during the weekend. But really, what I want you to think about for opening weekend is this: what's possible for you when you're in a space of women that are there to inspire each other, to lift each other up, to have fun, and to remember what it actually means to be a goddamn woman in this day and age and take our power back. I'm going to talk about raising your standards for yourself. I'm going to talk about giving yourself extravagant permission to dream again. And I'm going to talk about making decisions that are going to get you moving in your life. And I would love for you to be there. So, if something in this episode made you think, you know what? I need some new energy around me. I need those expansive rooms and spaces. I want to connect with women who are on the same path as me. Maybe they're ahead of me, maybe they're behind me, maybe they're beside me, but we're all walking each other home. If that feels like a hell yes to you, then come to opening weekend and let's hang out and bring your friends, bring your girlfriends. This is going to be a hell of a good time. And you're going to come away and there will be a shift after. When you wake up on Monday, you will be a different person simply by being in the rooms on opening weekend. I will have the link in the show notes for you to go and check out all the details for opening weekend. And then you can RSVP, you can register, and then you will get all the Zoom links. You'll get all of the replays of each event. If you can't make it live, I can't wait to hang out with you and to experience the elevated spaces of the society together. I would love to see you there. And look, your next life may begin with one new conversation, one new experience, or one woman who makes you realize that the thing you want isn't nearly as impossible as you thought. So come on in, opening weekend. I'm so fucking excited. And I know that the society is ready to explode into the universe. And I would love to have you as a founding member who can help shape this into what it's meant to be. I love you so, so much. I will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.